Good morning. Nice to meet you today. Firstly, I just want to say thank you so much for taking this time.
You're welcome. I'm also glad to see you.
Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Fu. I'm a student of the University of Paris-1, Paris-Sorbonne. I'm studying Master 1 Banking and Finance. Today, I want to interview you in order to serve my English class about art and anthropology. If you don't mind, can I make an audio recording?
Sure, it's no problem for me.
Let's start with some basic questions about your work and your personality. Who are you and what do you do now? Can you introduce briefly about yourself?
Well, my name is Tâm Nguyễn. I've just graduated Master 2 of the University Paris-Dauphine about computer science. I have a strong passion for painting, particularly portrait.
Portrait? Wow, it's so interesting. You usually draw a portrait from real person or your imagination?
Neither of them. My paintings often derive from the pictures. I usually search the pictures on the internet first, and after that, I will redraw them, but it brings my own style. I'm sure that when you see them, you will recognize the difference between them and the original pictures.
If you don't mind, can I take some photos of your paintings?
It's my pleasure.
How long does it take you to complete a painting?
It really depends on the difficulty of the picture, but in general, it takes me about 3 hours in average.
It's not so long time, huh?
Well, yes, but not any time I can also draw. I just draw when I have feelings. Art is the language of emotions. Art is the place that through it you can express your feelings and ideas in words, paintings, stones, or something like that. My first work of art is the portrait of Steve Jobs when I draw him in March 2015. The idea came to me so surprisingly. At that time, I caught a glance of a book writing about Steve Jobs by chance, and I really had an impression with his eyes, which were so bright. It made me to paint his face immediately. After finishing this painting, there were some people said to me that the face of Steve Jobs in my painting seemed to be fatter than his real one, and I just thought that it was one of the good points of painting compared with taking a photograph. When you take a photo, you cannot modify naturally. It's different from painting. You can change some small details to make better. And this is the painting that I have recently completed since October 2016. This painting describes two persons, so I named it brother and sister. They have a close relationship, which is shown by the hand of little sister putting on her brother's shoulder. Moreover, it's so cute with the gesture of brother. It seems that he wants to say hi to everyone.
I think you and Steve Jobs have in common, right? Because you said that you study computer science while Steve Jobs was working for Apple before. So it's the reason why you chose him as your first choice. Perhaps that you admire Steve Jobs. I mean, Steve Jobs is your idol, right?
Yes, exactly. I admire Steve Jobs so much.
Oh, I see. Now, coming to more general question. Tell me, what is your hobby? What do you do in your free time?
Well, in my spare time, I like playing the guitar. I didn't play it well because I have just learned for about 6 months, but I think I will improve my ability with this instrument for the reason that I find it is so interesting to discover.
So fantastic. And what else? Do you have any more hobbies?
Oh, yes, I also like calligraphy.
Calligraphy?
Yes, calligraphy is visual art related to writing. It is created with a broad tip instrument, brush, and other writing instruments. Writing ink is usually water-based and is much less viscous than the oil-based inks used in printing.
Oh, I got it. I love calligraphy too. Where did you learn it? I just wondering because I also want to learn it now.
It was about 2 years ago. I took part in a festival in Paris. I didn't remember the name of festival anymore, but at that time I played the game and luckily my team was the best. And the prize was the calligraphy which was written my name on it. It was very nice and I expressed a desire to learn how to write calligraphy of different types. Actually, it's not difficult to write calligraphy, but it needs to be patient. Yeah, because the complete a perfect calligraphy, it takes a long time.
Okay, I see. What's your strongest memory of your childhood?
Strongest memory? Oh yes, as I remembered, when I was young, I would become a fashion designer. At that time, I used to watch films of America with scenes on endless screen meadows, and I had an impression with the actors of films, particularly with their costumes. After that, I remembered and started to draw it in the paper. But I just thought that why I didn't create an album to save all my ideal, not only redraw the customs on films, but also create new things. As a result, the collection was up to approximately 100 works of art. Then I used some of them to participate in a competition and won the second prize. It's incredible.
Wow, so fantastic. Who influenced on you when you create the work of art?
Well, my grandfather, he influenced on me the most.
Could you explain more about it? Why your grandfather, not your mother or someone else?
Well, my grandfather is a real artist. He is very intelligent on some fields such as sculpture, drawing, poetry, and making statues from clay.
Perhaps that you've learned so much from your grandfather. Lucky you.
Yes, exactly.
You've said that your grandfather was the scouter, right? What did he do in particularly?
Well, he scouted Uncle Ho. Do you see what I mean? Do you know who Uncle Ho is? Uncle Ho was the first president of Vietnam. He was the great leader of my country. All people loved and respected him not only in the local but also around the world. It was the reason why my grandfather chose him to create his work of art.
That's great. How about his statues made of the clay? I've learned about the clay and let me tell you about the process to make the statue from the clay. Is it okay? And then you correct it for me if it has something wrong.
Sure, do not hesitate to show your knowledge.
Okay, well, the process of the clay starts with the mold and you have to wet it into a certain type consistency. Then you need to make it bone dry. It depends on the clay, but it shrinks from 10 to 20%. So you should make it a little bit bigger than the original one. To make it bone dry, you have to put it in the kiln and then fire. The final step is to smooth it out with the leather gloves.
Yeah, what you've said is exactly. I found you also have passion for art, particularly in making a statue. You know the process is really difficult, but you spend your time to find it out. It's so great and I highly appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. But thanks to my teacher, I read all the documents that he sent, and it has some information about the clay and how to make a statue from clay.
Lucky you, your teacher is very kind, right?
Yes, thanks to him, I can learn more about the art, and it helps me to improve my knowledge about the art. By the way, you told me that your grandfather was the poet, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he is a poet until now. His poetry is about the life, the family, maybe the landscape, etc. They are very close and intimate with the human life, especially in the village.
It's so interesting. The last question for you. What is your plan in the near future? Maybe for the next 3 years or 5 years?
Well, if I have a time, I intend to create a website, my own website. The website that I can save all my paintings and feelings as well. I will manipulate the knowledge that I have learned about computer science, as you know, huh? Combined with my passion for art. And when my website is broadened, I hope there will be so many people access it and buy some of my paintings. After that, I will spend all the earning money to donate for the poor, older people, and children in Vietnam, which is my country.
It's so great. Wish you will get what you desire to do. One more time, I want to say thank you for your joining in this interview. I hope that we will have a chance to cooperate in the future.